North and South Sports Betters Media. I am Hip Hop Mag, Raleigh Podcast Studios. Hey man, swag, we got a special guest in the building. One time for Miss Ursula.
What's up, people?
All right. What's happening? Let us know where you're from and what area code you're repping.
Oh, yes. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, 704 West Side.
There you go.
I'm residing in Apex now.
Yep.
I've been in the Triangle area for, about 20 years at least.
Good.
I migrated here to go to North Carolina Central for my undergrad, and
Good.
I've never left the area.
Wow, that's very good. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we get started?
Say what now?
Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we get started?
Just a shout out to, first of all, the Lord
Good.
for the opportunity to present my work and get it spread it as far as I can.
That's right.
Shout out my babies, Azaria, Jaden, and Roman, who hold it down for me. They're my inspiration, and all of my family and friends who support my endeavors.
That's right. All right. Let the viewers and the fans know why the name Queen Mother.
Because I'm a queen, and
That's right.
and I'm also a mother. Those are basically two of the most important roles that I have. I feel like as a child of God, I'm royalty.
That's right.
And so queen, and then of course my babies.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, Queen Mother in the building. All right. Hey, Swag, give it up for Queen Mother one time. Got the swag up in the building. All right. Queen Mother in the building. Let's get right into it. Who inspired you growing up? And we'll go from there.
Oh, wow. So I would say my biggest inspiration for writing would be Mildred D. Taylor, the author Mildred D. Taylor.
Okay.
I read her book when I was 9 years old entitled Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And it was the first time that I'd ever read a book where a black girl like me was the main character. And I knew after reading that book that I wanted to be a writer. And I've been writing ever since.
Wow, that is very amazing.
Yes.
So was that really what made you get into writing? Was it that moment right there?
Yes. After
Okay.
I read that book, I started writing poetry first. Just, little things that I would come up with. And then the poetry writing went in, it just migrated into storytelling.
Yes.
And I started writing my first novel probably when I was 12. So I didn't finish it. It didn't turn out to a full-length novel, but it was my first experience with storytelling on a magnified level.
Wow.
And so I went to North Carolina Central. I majored in journalism.
Yes.
I got my master's from Queen's University of Charlotte in
Yes.
creative writing.
Yes.
And I've just been trying to hone the talent that God has given me
Right.
through my books. If Ever a Time is my first novel.
All right. Very good.
And so that book was really inspired by some of the stories from my own ancestry.
Yes.
I talked to my father and my mother, some of my aunts and uncles, and I learned as much history as I could about my family.
Yes.
And then I implemented my own imagination of what it would be like for me living during the Civil War era.
Yes.
And so this story, it's a lot of stories and screenplays that come from the Civil War era. And so I wanted to make mine stand out. And so the first thing that came to me when I thought if I was in this position of being enslaved, and I wanted to run and get my liberty, what would I do that's never been done before? And so in this story, Boone is a free black man who falls in love with an enslaved woman. They end up having a child, and without telling too much, they kidnap the master's son when they make their escape north. So Boone leads the ransom that we're taking your kid. If you try to come after us, your kid is going to be the first one before mine, right? So let us get to freedom. We'll leave your kid somewhere safe, and that'll be the end of the problems, okay? And so that's what this book is about. It's about their relationship and their escape north and this situation of having two babies while you're on the run, their child and the master's child. And so this story was really fun to write. There were some tears too. I mean, it deals with the harsh reality of slavery, which is a very gruesome, graphic situation. And I wanted it to be real, but I also wanted it to be victorious. So we see some vengeance
Yes.
and happy endings in this story.
Ursula, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna get into that book a little bit more. Let the viewers and fans know, how was your upbringing at North Carolina Central when you were in school?
Oh man,
How was it?
so okay. I spent 1 year on campus. So I did get that campus life for 1 year, but
Mhm.
I ended up having my daughter that right after my freshman year. So I moved off campus
Yes.
and got married, and so I missed a lot of the dorm life that most of my classmates experienced for 4 years. You know, throughout their 4 year throughout their 4 year education. Can you hear me well?
Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And yeah, so I missed that dorm life throughout the 4 year tenure of my education,
Yes.
and so I enjoyed it. I had fun, probably too much fun.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a wonderful experience. You know,
Yes.
it was my first time getting out of the house, away from my parents, and actually making decisions for myself.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to my daughter is 25 now. She's a nurse, and
Good.
so she's all grown up. And my youngest is 17. So I'm looking forward to him graduating, and you know, getting a little bit of freedom back that I lost when I started motherhood, and
Yes.
you know, that whole experience.
That's amazing. Let me ask you this. What's the biggest thing that you want to see yourself accomplishing going into 2025 now that the year just started?
Wow, I would say the biggest thing is just my books. I'm
Yeah.
really trying to push them as hard as I can.
Right.
I've actually turned if ever a time into a screenplay. Yeah, so I've turned it into an 8 series show,
That is amazing.
and it's man, that's really what I've been focused on.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
up.
yeah.
Up. Yes.
Because I can see it, you know,
Right.
and that's always been the dream for all of my stories and my
Yes.
novels, at least, to see them made into movies or television shows.
Right.
And so that was the focus for my master's. It
I
was
have
transcribing this book into a screenplay.
I have so many people that are going to love this interview because I have authors and stuff that follow me that do books and stuff like that. So this is amazing.
Yes.
And you're going to be my first one I interviewed. So.
Well, let me encourage them.
Yes.
Keep writing.
Yes. And what encourages you to write? Where does that motivation and inspiration come from?
You know, it's just the love of writing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to get into writing books. It's hard to market them sometimes because, you know, not everybody is into whatever genre you're writing.
Uh-huh.
And so I find that my inspiration just comes from the actual love of
Yeah.
writing. I love
That's
to do it. I'm always writing something. If it's not, you know, another book, it's a short story. If it's not a short story, it's poetry. If it's not poetry, it's songs. I'm always writing something.
That's right. That's good. And that's how you stay motivated. And speaking about being an author, let's talk about the anthology Textual Chocolate. What's that about?
Okay, that's my newest baby. Let me take a look at that. So all of my covers I designed myself, and I'm really proud of this one because it came out so great. It's just a collection of short stories and poems that I have written since for as long as I can remember. Like some of those poems in there are maybe 20 years old. And so I just compiled everything together. Some of the short stories that I wrote while I was pursuing my master's degree. And I had feedback on those from my professors and, you know, other colleagues who were also pursuing their degrees. And I just put it into making the best anthology, the best collection of short stories and poetry that I could.
Yes, Mama did.
So it's science fiction stories in there. got romance stories in there, crime noir stories in there, just a bit of everything.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know what anthology was. I had to look it up, and it's a mix of music, authoring, writing, poetry. It's just a mix of everything in one collective book.
Yes,
that's amazing.
Yes, so it's about 10 stories, 10 short stories in there, and a little bit over 30 poems and verses. So I'm really proud of that. That's my new baby, so I'm pushing that hard too. I made it extra big so it can go on a coffee table. And yeah, because it really stands out. It's a conversation piece.
That's dope. That's dope. That's your baby. Gotta keep planting them seeds, right? Let me ask you this. Being a black woman in 2025, how's that going for you as far as being an educator and being the author that you are?
It's going well.
Yeah.
I know the political climate right now is up in the air, with the recent election, but I look at it as I have my own personal focus.
Right.
And I try not to get too distracted by the political climate and by, the negativity about black people, about black women. I'm just grateful that I have the support that I do from my family, from my friends, to uplift me and help keep me focused on what matters most, and that is being the best version of myself that I can be.
And the only way I can inspire people is, like you said, being the best version of myself. Because there's a lot going on out here. People need to stay inspired with politics.
Right.
I try just to not get distracted by it. Don't really care who the president gonna be, who the next one gonna be, because my life ain't gonna change. Okay. Unless I want it to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
ain't
see what
nothing
you're saying.
good or bad happen unless it starts with me.
Right.
So we don't worry about all the negativity and what's it called, distractions.
Yes.
So that's the main thing. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about your upcoming podcast you got coming soon. How's that going to work out for you? It's going to work out.
I mean,
but how are you going to put it into motion?
I'm just planning on using it as a tool, again, to continue to push my writing.
Yes.
I promised myself that I was going to invest in myself more in 2025. And that podcast is just my motion.
Yes. Yes. And like you said, what you're doing is you're adding more pieces to your basket. You see what I'm saying? Because you can never stop learning. Like I tell people, I started the show, but what I want to do is add that hair to the show. You see what I'm saying? So it legitimizes me as a business owner. You see what I'm saying? And not even after that, I want to keep pursuing my education. You see what I'm saying? Because
that's awesome.
You can never stop learning.
That's key because I felt like when I was getting my master's, it's a terminal degree for creative writing. It's starting to branch out more where I've seen a couple schools start to offer PhDs, but I got to thinking when I was getting my master's, I'm like, you never master the craft. And it's so evident when I look back at old stories I've written or old poems or just anything I've written years ago, and I see the growth that I've made. I know 10 years from now I'm going to look back at what I wrote right now and see growth. And so I feel like you never really master the craft. You just keep getting better at it.
Yes, that's why it's important to keep going.
Right.
You feel me? Let's talk about Black Girls Bite. What's that about?
So
I'm coming now.
Okay, you did your research. All right. I love road cycling.
Okay,
I have a Cannondale road bike, and it's my therapy.
Good.
I can just get on my bike, and it's like I just have this release where everything that's going on, I can process it.
Yes.
Any frustrations, I can work them out, going up that hill, going around. Right. And it's also a great form of exercise. And I found that, when I first started riding, of course, people had these fancy bikes, these thousands of dollar bikes, and they ride right past you. And it used to kind of get to me. But as I kept riding, I'm like, I'm not out here to compete with them.
Exactly.
I'm out here to compete with me. Exactly. So it's always me versus me Ursula versus Ursula,
Yep.
and I'm just trying to get better than I was the last time.
That's right. That's right. You said it perfect. Ended on that note right there. Also, you're a sneakerhead.
Yes.
Okay. Keep going. You love shoes.
Okay, so I feel like everybody has their passion,
Okay.
maybe even a vice here or there,
Uh-huh.
and mine is sneakers. I absolutely love a funky, chunky sneaker. That's my thing.
Okay.
I used to, be into heels, but I found that they hurt my feet.
They hurt your feet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Walking on them
and
all
I
day.
respect women who can wear them. Like heels are sexy. I be like, girl, you wearing them, do your thing, but it's not for me.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So I
That's
go
right.
with what's comfortable.
Yep.
And that's sneakers for me. I'm a real big fan of Yeezys, early sneakers. Yeah, I have a few of those. A little soft spot for those. I was kind of sad to see, that line end for Adidas.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, when they parted ways, so I feel like he still had a lot of potential in, just creating more hot shoes.
He gotta get out his ego.
Yeah,
He gotta get out his ego first.
yeah.
He's blocking his own blessing.
So now, what's your favorite? Are you into sneakers?
I have never been a sneaker person, but if I had to choose, it'll probably be like some Vans.
Okay.
I like Vans.
Vans are comfortable.
You see what I'm saying?
I got a couple pair of Vans.
I go with what's comfortable,
Yes.
not what's hot. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Because you could be wearing something and it's too tight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My feet hurt easy. Kev will tell you, I be at work all day, my feet be hurting, boy. He'll tell you. So yeah, I like to go with what's comfortable.
Yeah, I'm always for what's comfortable
And it has to suit you. You see what I'm saying?
that part.
You see what I'm saying? You have to know
That
what's
part.
for you and what's not for you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the goal.
And I think a lot of people go for, the hype beast. Whatever's trending, what's out, what's the hottest one out, what's the most exclusive,
You see what I'm saying?
the one that sells out so quick. But I love finding a sleeper.
Okay.
I love finding a slept-on pair of shoes that nobody really paid any attention to,
Mm-hmm.
and you happen to run up on them, and for a good price because nobody's looking at them. The price is dropped, and so I've got a lot of shoes like that where I just ran up on a hot pair of sleepers that I always get compliments on, and nobody ever knew anything about them.
They gonna love you after this. I got sneakerheads that follow me on Instagram too, so
Yes.
they definitely gonna feel it. Okay. Let me ask you this: as far as hobbies and stuff like that, what's your favorite place to eat in Raleigh? What do you like?
Off top,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Beta Mandas. So it's a Laotian restaurant. If I'm not mistaken, it's off Martin Street.
Oh,
And so it's really eclectic. The name means father, mother. Beta, father, Manda, mother. And so the opener or creator of this restaurant
Wow.
basically took recipes from
Yes.
their homeland, from their mother and father, and implemented them into the menu. And so the food is absolutely amazing. I love the food. They have some nice, tasty cocktails.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my favorite spot to go in Raleigh. If I'm celebrating something, that's where I'm going to go.
and let them know the food spot again.
Beta Mandas.
Wow, Beta Mandas. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna check that out. That's not bad. Okay. Favorite TV show or movie today in 2025 when you're at home doing nothing?
Wow, that's tough. Let me say, I'm a Star Wars fan. And so the most recent Star Wars television show that was out maybe a couple months ago, The Skeleton Crew was really good. It had Goonie vibes. If you're a Goonies fan, if you remember that movie back from the 80s where they're searching for One-Eye Willie's treasure.
If you're into Star Wars and the whole UFO thing, Kev, what's the guy that played Tupac with the bald head, light skinned guy? He played in the Carbon movie. You remember the second Alter Carbon that came out?
Yes. I know you're talking
The
about
black guy.
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie.
Yes.
Yo, he just came out with a new movie called what's it called? Not Invasion. It's something. Hold on, let me look it up right
Okay.
quick. Alright, it's on my other
I'm
phone.
an Anthony Mackie fan too. I plan on going to see
Elevation.
Captain America. Okay.
Elevation, Kev. It's about the predators that's out in the woods and they're cloaking in and out of the earth.
Okay.
They're operating off the.
So it's a Predator series?
It's kind of like Alien vs Predator.
Okay,
And they found
gotcha.
out how to kill it, but it's called Elevation. It just came out on HBO Max
Okay.
yesterday.
I gotta check it out. Now that's what I'm going to watch when I get home.
Elevation. Oh my gosh, it was so good. 2 hours long.
Okay, and that's
So
what I
good.
like too. Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. I'm
I
gonna show y'all
appreciate
the
that.
trailer when we get finished.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite place you want to visit in the future that you haven't been to yet?
I definitely want to go to Africa, specifically Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
It's bustling from what I've seen of the footage and television shows and documentaries. It's a nice city to explore.
Okay.
So Africa is definitely a place I want to go that I haven't been. And
Yeah.
for one, I want to explore some of the cultures there
Good.
because that's where my ancestry is from. We come from Africa, and so it would be nice to visit, maybe even see the Ivory Coast for where our ancestors were taken and shipped.
That's deep.
I've heard that's a really deep and emotional experience, so that would be nice for me.
That's deep. Very deep. I like that. All right. Queen Mother, who do you do this for when you wake up every day?
Say it again.
Who do you do this for when you wake up every day?
I do it for God, honestly.
I like that.
He's been so good to me, and so I'm a firm believer that my purpose is to bring him glory. So that's why I do what I do, and I do it well because I want him to be proud of me. I want him to look down and like, that's my girl.
That's right.
That's my
man.
baby girl. She's
That's
going
right.
hard in the paint, and I know he'll open doors for me that nobody else down here can.
You feel me?
Yes.
You feel me? I always tell people, my connections are not here on earth. My connections are from up top.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can try to get close to this person to get to me, or try to. It ain't gonna work.
Right.
It ain't gonna work. So,
Right.
what they say, whatever form can't be prospered. That's right?
I know that's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Whatever weapons form will not prosper against me, and
Yep.
he's just. I look back at a lot of things that, mistakes
Yes.
that you make,
Yes.
and things that I could have let be the end of me.
Yep.
The end of my dreams. But I've seen how he's taken those things and flipped them upside down and just brought out the best outcome. If I fell down, I got up and I learned from it.
Yep.
So now I get back out there. I know what to do different in order to be more successful.
Yes, ma'am. That's right. That's right. All right. Let them know where we can find you out on all social platforms.
Well, Queen Mother, of course, on
There you go.
Instagram, on Threads,
Yep.
and
Threads is lit.
I've just stumbled on Threads, but I really do respect it because I've made some sales from my books. Up
Me
there.
too.
Yeah, okay.
Me too.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
seen a spike in my book sales. Sometimes you have this high rise when you first release, and then it's this slump.
Yes.
But I found through Threads, just pushing and pushing and pushing, because one
Yep.
thing I'm going to do is push my books.
Yes.
I saw my sales go back up. And
Yep.
so I appreciate Threads. I
Yep.
appreciate everybody out there on Threads who have
Yep.
supported me and purchased my book. If I ever see you in person, I'll definitely sign it. So
Yep.
come to any future book signings.
Yep.
And so also on Facebook, Ursula Denise, which is my
There you go.
publisher name, Ursula Denise. And that's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you heard it here first, man. Best podcast in the Carolinas, North and South.
Hands down.
Hey, man, Sports Betters Media. I am Hip Hop Mag, Raleigh Podcast Studios, Miss Ursula, Queen Mother. Tap in or tap out. You heard me?
Yes.
Thank you, Ursula, for coming through.
Yes,
that
sir.
was very good. This is dope. This is very good right here.
I appreciate
That's
you.
hard, body.
I
That's
appreciate you.
going hard in the paint for real.
Real quick before you guys get it.
All right.
Actually, just
Yep.
give me a nice big smile. You want to do it with holding the books up?
Oh, yeah. Hold your books up.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, I'll hold it up for you.
Yeah,
Thank
if
you.
you do one and you do the other,
Okay.
I like that. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Ursula, take some more pictures.
Okay.